Hi everyone, it's Father Jay. Hopefully you watched the first video about the welcome back, and most of that is still very valid, but we're going to make one big significant change. I do want to remind you, you need to have a reservation before you come. When we were first doing this, we were hoping we would get 200 people in church. That's not going to happen. So we've capped the reservations off at 150, and hopefully that will work. We will see how it works the first couple of weeks, and if we have to add another mass, we will do that. I just want you to know we will do that. One of the things that we have changed in order to make this communion a little better, one of the things that we've changed is how we are going to do communion. We will still have a Eucharistic minister go to the parking lot. So if you're watching Mass in your car, there'll be a Eucharistic minister who will go to the parking lot and give you communion. Again, you mean keep the 6 feet from each other. But in church, we're going to be doing it differently. In church, because we're doing every other pew, we're going to do this. It's going to violate for about 15 seconds the 6-foot rule as people come to you. But why don't, Tammy, let's go into church and take a look. Okay, here we are in church. When I did the first video, what we were talking about was we would have everybody 6 foot in, so that when people walk down the aisles, they're 6 foot apart. But you notice, when you see the blue line on the pew, that's a lot of space. That's a lot of wasted space. So what we're going to do is this. For Holy Communion, it'll be myself and 3 Eucharistic ministers in the church. And we're going to be asking the Eucharistic ministers to bring a family member who is of relative good health, who can help. And the Eucharistic minister and the helper will have to have masks on. And I'll be doing a video to train the Eucharistic ministers, because after they put their mask on, they need to purify their hands, because touching the mask can be a problem, I understand. So they'll put the mask on, and what will happen is the priest or the Eucharistic minister will go between every pew, so we'll give communion to the people in the first pew. And then when we go to the third pew, the priest or the Eucharistic minister and their helper will go between. So just a few things as we do this. I realize that this is going to violate the 6-foot space for about 15 seconds as the Eucharistic minister and somebody else goes through. But this, my hope is, this is going to get us an extra 50 people in church. We had Mass on Memorial Day, and everything went great. It was wonderful. It was a beautiful Mass, but we had about 87 people in church, and I looked out thinking, there's no way I'm going to get 200 people in here. Now, we want to get as many people in as we can, because we just want to make sure that if people want to come to Mass, feel safe coming to Mass, that they can do that, and we want you to feel safe. So as we're coming through the pews, because you notice we have, in every other pew, we have a sign closed to maintain social distancing. So when the priest and you'll be standing for communion, and you got to stand. Some people want to kneel, but that's going to really violate the space. That's going to put you in very close proximity. You'll need to stand. And we will go through, and we will give communion. Now, the reason we'll have somebody, a helper, who will have Purell or some other hand sanitizer is in case there is incidental contact. So I know this morning I was giving communion, and one of the people I gave communion to, I accidentally touched her hand. So I turned, I put Purell on my hand, purified my hand, and then continued to do that in case there's incidental contact. That's why we're going to send, that way the Eucharistic minister doesn't have to set things down, reach into his or her pocket. And of course, reaching in his or her pocket can be a problem too, because there could be something on their pocket. So we're trying to be as safe as we can. So we're going to have a helper come with them with Purell in case there's incidental contact. Now, I have to tell you, and I'm asking you to be considerate of others, and we want to meet everybody's needs. So we're asking you to receive communion on the hand. That would really be the preference. Now, I have to tell you in all honesty, I usually prefer communion on the tongue. That's the international norms. That's what we normally do. But during this time of pandemic, it seems to be that could be a problem. And at least it's a problem for other people. So if I were to give you communion on the tongue, and the next person is there, they might freak out. They might be afraid to receive communion. We don't want to do that. So what we're going to do is there'll be myself, because Father Bednar will not be giving communion. He's asked to not give communion. He's at the age where it's more of a risk. he lives with other priests who are older and have health issues, and it's more of a risk. So they're all concerned about somebody bringing it into the seminary. So I just want you to know, Father Bednar will not, but I'll be at every Mass giving communion. When I am finished with my section, and I will be giving communion in this section as I normally do, I will go back to anybody who wanted communion on the tongue. We're going to ask you to raise your hand. You can see that I'm done and I come to the front. If you want communion on the tongue, raise your hand and I will come to you and give you communion in the hand. I will parallel my hands between each person. But I just want you to know that's what we're going to do. Is it perfect? No. But again, there are people, if they see me give communion to somebody in the tongue and they're next or a few people down, they might not want to receive communion because they feel it. Now you might think that's ridiculous or you might think that's stupid. The law of love goes here. So we're going to do what we need to do to help people feel safe. Not only be safe, but feel safe. So if you want communion in the tongue, when I'm done with everybody else, you can raise your hand and I'll give you communion on the tongue. Thank you for your cooperation, and God bless you.